Ready is not something you hope to be, it is something you build. So if you've been waiting to feel ready, you've been waiting to apply for that job or that promotion, you've been waiting before you send that email proposal, you've been waiting to press record, you've been waiting to do that thing that your heart has been calling you towards. You have been just waiting upon waiting at this point. And that feeling that you're searching for of being ready, it doesn't come when you begin. It actually comes because you began. It is a byproduct of you actually doing the thing on repeat. Now, listen, I'm speaking from experience because when I pressed record to make my very first YouTube video on December 15th, 2025, was I afraid? Absolutely. I was mortified, terrified, all of the fides. I would have much rather did anything and found any reason to start on another day. But I pressed record and then I did it again the next day and the day after that. And here we are 40 some odd days later, and I am still here making daily videos on YouTube. Okay, let me get a mini celebration up in there, okay? But, friend, what you see before you right now is certainly not how it started, okay? This is how it's going. So, if you want the tea on what you have to do to actually build your ready, then definitely, friend, let's get into it. So, why do we wait? Because we all have that magic recipe, those special set of reasons or circumstances why we just haven't started the dang on thing. We love to wait for the right time. We love to wait for a full plan, and not just any plan, but all of the steps to the plan. We are waiting for it to be next Tuesday. We're waiting for the new year. We are waiting to be waiting, friend. And listen, I say this with no shade and no shame because 9 times out of 10, all of these examples are me, okay? I have been there and done that so many times, friend. So no shade and no shame. And the waiting, it was never about readiness. It was about safety. It was about protecting yourself from the fear of being seen starting small. It was protecting you from all of the risk of failure and even judgment. It was risking you not being able to actually do this thing that you said you were going to do. We'd much rather bypass and skip all of that because it's so much cuter when it shows up in one of those lovely little photo montages when they want to talk about your humble beginnings. But of course, this is already after you've achieved major success because otherwise, none of that was showing up in your stories. We were not getting the real time play by play action, okay? And the more time that we give ourselves, the more that we wait on just that one more thing to finally be in place, the more that we continue to practice waiting. And guess what? You already know how this game goes because you've played it several times before. Because the more that you practice waiting, the better you get at it. And then waiting just seems like the really responsible thing to do when the whole time, all of the waiting was really just fear and procrastination dressed up in a really reasonable outfit. It looked like you were being responsible for gathering all of the information. It looked like you were doing the right thing because you were timing it just right. But we all know. Hashtag we all know, friend. And what we really should be practicing is not the waiting. We should be practicing putting in the work that's actually going to get us there. Because the real solution to all of this is getting into action. Because it is when you are in motion that you are building real momentum. And I'm going to actually give you the built framework because, friend, we are not just waiting to be ready anymore. We are stepping up and putting in the work, putting in our reps. We're putting in the action, friend. So here we go with the built framework. The B is begin before you feel ready. Because, friend, we've all had humble beginnings. We've all had that Drake moment, the started from the bottom, now we here. And every time you started from the bottom, you ended up getting your way up to the top, right? You put in the work, you practiced, you did what you had to do in order to level up. You learned more that you needed to learn in order to be able to apply that knowledge. You made sure that you had the tools and the resources. And because you were in action, you were learning all of those things that you needed in order to really put this thing into play. It wasn't because you sat around preparing and just stuck in the planning phase. It is when you actually start to put that plan in motion that you really learn what it is that's necessary for it all to come together. So, friend, you have to stop thinking that the feeling of being ready is what gets the party started. It is not. Ready is what comes after the party has started. Ready does not show up when there's nobody at the party, okay? Ready will sit around and be like, when is everybody getting here? I didn't put on my good shirt for this. I know, I play too much. But it's true, friend. You got to get the party started. You got to put in the work. You have to put in those reps in order for ready to make its presence be known. Okay. And the U is unlearn the waiting, friend. We have got to step out of the waiting game and start putting in the work because it is only when you are doing that you actually set yourself up to get closer to where it is that you really want to be. You won't get there by just planning and strategizing. Now, listen, I love me a good strategy and I love a good plan because I'm a planner. That's what I do. But I also understand that the plan evolves as you go because there are just certain things that are going to happen that you can't plan for. It was not in the strategy meeting on Tuesday. Nobody saw this thing coming. It just showed up. So, if we can just unlearn waiting and start putting in the work, start putting in your reps, start practicing because practice is not about becoming perfect. Practice is about making progress. And that is what you really want to see to let you know that, hey, I really am getting ready because I can see some improvements up in here. So, friend, let's unlearn, let's release that level of waiting and get into action. Let's start doing our work because that is what moves you forward. It's taking those steps day after day after day. That is what sets you up to get you closer to where you really want to be. The I is for iteration because, friend, this is where it really starts to get good. Because when you are practicing, when you are putting in your reps, the more that you iterate, the better you get. I love giving athletes as examples because I think it's the most universal. And when I think about this one, immediately Steph Curry comes to mind because if you love basketball the way that I do, you know that he is one of the greatest three-point shooters of our time. And what I really love about learning more about him and his process is it is because he has practiced and he has put in the work. That is how he got to this level. He would not be Chef Curry if he wasn't practicing. If he wasn't practicing from the half court logo. Do you remember when those were like the most amazing shots to see in the NBA was like him shooting from half court? He changed the game because now you got people 7'2" shooting threes. It is because he puts in the work. Does he visualize and see himself making these shots? Absolutely. But do you know what gives him the most confirmation that when that ball leaves his hand, it's going in the basket? It's because he's made the shot so many times that now it's built his confidence. So, does that mean that every time he shoots it, he makes it? No. But he knows that he can be confident in his shot because he's practiced it so many times that his percentage of it going in is top tier. And that is what putting the reps gets you, friend. It is in that constant iteration, learning from your mistakes, learning from your missed baskets. That is how you come to master your craft. That is what builds confidence. That is what builds readiness. It's in the iteration, friend. Oh, this gets me so fired up. I'm telling you, friend, the practice is where it's at. People think that it's about being perfect, and that's not at all what it is. Whoever your favorite athlete or star is, that you just admire their work ethic, you admire everything that they've achieved in their career. It has been because they were willing to put in more work, as in more reps, than anybody else. They were willing to reiterate on repeat. That is how you build the muscle, friend. It's in the iteration. And the L is look for evidence because, friend, when you start putting in your practice, when you start putting in all your reps, you start to see the evidence in your confidence boosting. You start to see your percentages increase and go up in the right direction. You start to see where you can even make adjustments faster than you did before because you are not afraid to look at your progress and identify what's working and what needs some more work. So it really is when you start looking for the evidence because you've been practicing and putting in your reps. That's where you really start to feel that momentum that it is really carrying you through because now the evidence it's mounting up all around you, friend. And that is really where the magic is. When people ask Steph Curry about why he feels so confident in his shot. It's not only was he practicing from half court at the logo, he was also practicing from the tunnel that they walk out of. So when you see him make these shots that look humanly impossible for the rest of the world to do, it's because he's practicing the most unorthodox places. That's how, when he's making these shots and he is like on one foot about to step out of bounds and instantly makes it, it's because he's been practicing that. So, friend, I encourage you to just get into practice. Just get into practice, because the more you practice, the more the evidence builds up that shows you that you can really do it. Because, friend, you can. Practice isn't about being perfect, practice is about making progress. And that you can do. And the T is trust the process. Because, friend, I know what it's like to do the thing and then want to dig up the seeds to see if they're growing. But nothing grows if all you ever do is plant the seeds and dig it right back up. Listen, okay? Guilty. Been there, done that. It doesn't work, friend, okay? Let's just skip that one. I've put in enough of those reps for all of us, okay? But, friend, we know how things grow. We know that it takes time. We know that it takes nurturing your skills, your capabilities, your competencies. The more that you build up all of these things, your proficiency becomes the result of that. Ready is the result of the effort, it is a result of the reps that you've been putting in. So, this is where you really have to lean in and trust that the process is doing its thing. Because, friend, if you are really putting in the things that you know that you need to do, then the results are really inevitable. It is in you trusting the process that you can relax a little bit and let things flow in the way that they need to. I know sometimes when we want something so bad, we are holding on to it with the Vulcan death grip, okay? We are not letting anything out of our fist. You are just hands clenched, and nothing can get into a closed fist. And that's what happens when we are not trusting that our reps are building up towards something, that the outcome is just an inevitable part of everything that you're doing, including trusting the process. So, this is where we can hold tightly but loosely. And I have to find who said that quote because it's so beautiful and it's so very true. You do not have to hold on to everything so tightly that there's no room for it to even grow or expand. Trust the process. Trust that the effort that you're putting in, all of those reps, they are going to equal something amazing. And it's going to be all in your benefit. Just trust the process, friend. Mm-mm. Oh, so good. Oh, I love this so much, friend. Mm-mm-mm. I hope that you have loved the built framework. Let me go ahead and get you your journal prompt. Okay, where have I been waiting to feel ready? And what is one step I can take today to start building it instead? Ooh, friend. Yes. Go ahead and explore this, friend, because you are just one decision, one step away from changing things and really turning it into the right direction. You are one step away from building the momentum that you want to build to the point to where you don't just feel ready, you are ready. Oh, yes, friend. You know, Sugar Free said, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Ever did I just quote Sugar Free? If you know, you know, okay? I play entirely too much, but we gotta have some fun up in here. You know what I mean? Okay, friend, meet me in the comments, okay? Tell me, what is one thing that you have been waiting to feel ready for? What is it, friend? I can't wait to meet you in the comments and celebrate you there. And if you love these types of prompts, I'll leave a resource for you down in the description called the Main Character Energy Journal Prompts. These are prompts that really help you to connect to yourself so that you can really start creating the momentum and building up your self love and all of the things to be the main character in your own life. Because, friend, whether you are navigating a new season of life or even just pivoting in a completely new direction, you are doing a life rebrand, friend. These prompts will definitely help you connect to yourself in the best of ways so that you can be taking your action from that place. So good, friend. Okay, meet me in the comments. I can't wait to celebrate you there. And listen, you already know I love myself so much, I don't play about me. And if you hang out with me long enough, you will love yourself so much that you don't play about you either. Yes, friend. Sending you so much love, and I can't wait to see you in the next video tomorrow.